Hi, in this video we will continue exploring the data visualization in the UMH. In the previous video we saw how we can obtain data from TimescaleDB using Factory Insight over a REST API to get numeric values. Well, Grafana is used in the stack as a data visualization solution, as we can see here on the simplified diagram. And there's a very smooth connection between Grafana and TimescaleDB that allows us to select data in a convenient way and make pretty dashboards in very little time. So without much theory in this video, let's just jump in and see how it works in practice. So Grafana is exposed by default, so we can just navigate to a browser, and I have my Grafana port bookmarked here. Essentially, you would navigate to the IP address of the cluster where your UMH is running. In my case, this is my virtual machine, a flat car, and port 8080. Port 8080 is the default port used for web applications. Now, it prompts us for a username and a password. We can find this information in the secret defined in Kubernetes. So I will just open OpenLens again, navigate to the config tab, the secrets, and here we have the Grafana secret. And the admin user is probably admin, yes, and the password is this long string. So let's copy that, navigate back to our Grafana, paste the password, the username, and we are logged in. So next we will create a dashboard to display some time series about our humidity of our imagined melting furnace in Hamburg. So let's create a new dashboard. I think we can do that here by clicking on new dashboard. We will add a new panel. And the first panel I want to add is a time series that will show the evolution of the humidity value in time. Very important, as the data source, we will use the UMH version 2 data source. And it's this data source that allows us to easily select tags that we have connected earlier using Node-RED. So by selecting the version 2 data source, we can now find our client Factory Insight, the location Hamburg, we have a default area, default production line that we haven't configured. And here we find our melting furnace. And for the melting furnace, we find just one tag that we added by ourselves, so it's a custom tag. Let me increase move my video a bit higher so it's more visible. Yeah, there we go. Melting furnace, the custom tag will be our humidity. Right. And we want to average it by every minute. I think that suffices. Okay, for the rest we can keep the default values, and let's see what we get when we apply this. And let us look at the last 15 minutes of this data, and here we are. Actually, let's increase it to maybe the last 1 hour of data. And there we go, we can see that we have a nice time series of our humidity. We can further customize this panel by, for instance, making the title a bit clearer. Let's call this humidity melting furnace. And that will do for now. I want to add one more panel to my dashboard, namely a canvas. A canvas is a pretty new feature in Grafana that allows you to overlay values that change in real time on an image. And we will use this to create, let's say, a floor plan of our factory that I have found in this CAD drawing on the internet. So let's just imagine for a minute that this block here in the center is our melting furnace. We want to add a panel to our dashboard that displays the current value of the humidity on top of this melting furnace and colors the background of this value in red when the humidity is above 40 to warn the operator. So for this, let's go back to our dashboard. we're going to create a new panel. The panel will this time not be a time series, it will be a canvas, like this. First, let's configure the background of the canvas. For this, we go here in the options on the right, and we see here that we have in the background, we can say it will be an image, and the source of this image will be a URL that we can copy here. There we go. If we paste the URL here, the image appears in the preview, so Grafana managed to find it. And there we have it. We now have this image on our dashboard. The next thing we will do is we will configure this field to display the current value or the last value we have of our humidity. For this, we have to first again select the version 2 data source in Grafana, go to factory insight, our client, Hamburg, default area, default production line, and our melting furnace, and select the value we have. Now, in order to find the value on the right column, we first have to apply the dashboard. And this already shows us what it will look like when it's finished. Let's make it a bit bigger so that we can have the same width as our time series, approximately. Yeah, I think this looks good. Now, let's configure this panel a bit further. We can, for example, say this is our, let's call this factory plan. And then in the element 1 that we are configuring, let's give it a proper name. We call it humidity melting furnace. All right. So the background will, so first of all, the metric value, it will be a metric value, which means that it will take a value from our database. In this case, it will be the melting furnace humidity average value, as you can see here. And there we can actually see it already in the figure, 39.9. We can make this box a bit smaller. Let's move it close to the furnace, so the operators can easily see that this value pertains to the melting furnace here. There's one more thing I'd like to do. We don't just want to display the value. We also want to give a warning if the humidity is too high. And for this, we can scroll a bit down and go to the background. Instead of a fixed color, we will make the color dependent on the value itself. The value will be green when it's below the threshold. And we can set the threshold to 40. And above this value, the value should turn red on the image. So let's apply this and look here at our data. Well, it seems to be the case. So we have our nice value. Oh, it's not in the correct position. Let me move it here. There we go. That's better. So we can see that the humidity at this point is 39.6. Let me do a refresh of the data where I get the last, let's say 15 minutes. And now we have to either wait for a value that's higher than 40, or maybe I can just change the threshold to make it a bit, so we won't have to wait that long. So let me edit the graph one more time. 39.3. Apply it. And now we see that our value is above 39.4, and therefore the background of our humidity has turned to red. Once we drop back to 39.3, we see that we are again at or below the threshold, so our value is green again. I think this really demonstrates just how easy it is to visualize data in Grafana. Can you just imagine how much effort it would take if you wanted to code this graph yourself or create this canvas? The nice thing, it's actually already pre-configured, so you can zoom, you can look at values. And the nice thing is that because the UMH version 2 data source has already been configured, we can quite easily see, we can quite easily use all the data we have available at TimescaleDB.